Hello, my sons and stars. As I promised you before, this is the reading of Into the Shadows of Chapter 23 and Chapter 24. I know I said I'd do Chapter 25, but I am not feeling that well today, so I believe I'll only be able to make it through two chapters, which is normally what I do. I normally do two chapters, but technically it's one chapter. It doesn't matter. Um, But I'm just doing 23 and 24. I know I said I do 25, but I'm just doing 23 and 24 because I'm not feeling that great. Sorry, not sorry. My health is very important to me. And yeah. And I don't want this to be a career. I just do it for fun. And you seem to enjoy it. And I like when people enjoy things I do. So that's what we're doing here. If you skip this intro, I am sorry that it doesn't matter if you skipped it. It doesn't matter if you didn't. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let's just read. Um, Nico was slightly sad it was Halloween. That meant that tomorrow he would have to wait a full year for it to come again. And Halloween was actually something that made him feel slightly happy. Nico understood. Everybody else thought, yeah, the emo son of Hades likes Halloween. That's pretty believable. Almost stereotypical. But that wasn't really the whole reason why Halloween was his favorite. At Halloween, Nico felt like he could fit in. Everybody was either dressed up or wearing Halloween themed clothing. People were telling scary stories and having a lot of fun being scared. Nico wore dark clothes every day. He spent a lot of time with ghosts. He spent a lot of time in the underworld. Even his powers were pretty Halloweenish. Every day there were people who looked at him funny, thought about how weird he was. He felt like he could fit in on Halloween. Well, fit in as much as he could, under the circumstances. Nico noticed Will running towards him. Hey, I'm about to change into my costume. You should too, Will exclaimed excitedly. All right, I will. Jeez. So Nico walked into his cabin and pulled Will's clothes that were brought in his size from his drawer. Once he was done, he looked in the mirror. He almost screamed. He looked so out of the ordinary. He almost looked like a different person. He had on a khaki colored pair of cargo shorts, a bright orange camp shirt with Will's beaded necklace, a blue checkered flannel over the shirt, a pair of flip-flops, and a medkit pouch attached to the side of his shorts. How did Will convince me to do this? Nico muttered under his breath. Sorry. Nico walked outside where Will was already waiting, and what he saw stopped him in his tracks. Will was wearing ripped black skinny jeans and a belt, black sneakers, a skull shirt, and a navy jacket. Even though Nico's got destroyed while transporting the Athena Parthenos. Will also had on Nico's skull ring, which he borrowed from Nico. He was wearing some kind of eyeshadow underneath his eyes. Once the son of Apollo noticed him, he came running over. Will? Hmm? Why are you wearing eyeshadow under your eyes? Oh, that's because it kinda looks like your unhealthy eye bags underneath your eyes. Nico sighed. Whatever. So I'm thinking next year I could be Luke Skywalker and you could be Han Solo. Nico looked at him blankly. Who? You know, from Star Wars. What's Star Wars? Oh my God. You don't know what Star Wars is? We're gonna have a marathon. Mm. It's the best movie series in the world. We can talk more about it later. But you're gonna watch it with me. So anyways, trick-or-treating is going to start at 8 and right now it's 4. What do you want to do right now, death boy? We could bob for apples or dance to spooky music. Or do some fun Halloween activities, Will explained. Are you gonna hang out with me the whole night? What about what about Cecily? Or your siblings? I'm gonna hang out with you the whole night. Don't worry about all those other guys. They're fine. Okay, Solace. I guess I'm just going to eat right now. I'm pretty hungry. Once the time hit 8, everyone started trick-or-treating at each cabin and at the big house, which each cabin was managed by one person, except for the empty cabins and Nico's. Nico's cabin could manage itself. Each cabin that housed campers were decorated. None of them were scary, though, but Nico expected that. That was why he put a lot of work into his cabin. As Will and Nico went from house to house, there were multiple people who came up to them to compliment their costumes. Whenever they were around someone, Will tried to do a bad impression of Nico. Go away. I'm forever alone. My name is Nico D'Angelo, and I'm the Prince of Darkness, and I am very emo. Will said when Cecily stopped by to say hi. Nico elbowed Will. I don't sound like that. Cecily and Will just laughed. Dressed as a ro- Dressed as a robber, huh, Cecily? Very suiting. What are you trying to say, D'Angelo? I'm saying it's a suiting thing for you to dress up, since the Hermes cabin are known to be pranksters and stealers. Hey! We're not all like that. It's just a stereotype. I, for one, haven't stolen anything. Nico raised an eyebrow while Will laughed. Fine! I steal occasionally. Still hiding, Will said. Nico stumbled. He remembered those words. Still hiding. You were weak. Eros's words, Crotia. Nico, are you okay? Will said, steadying Nico's shoulder. Yeah, I'm fine. I just tripping because of these annoying sandals. I've never worn flip-flops before today. There was a pained look in Will's eyes, like he could see right through Nico's eyes. Are you sure you're all right? I'm fine. Will removed his hand. Okay. Okay. Oh my god! Sorry. Okay. Let's go to the next cabin then. Okay. Bye, guys! Cecily yelled as he ran off. After the two finished, two more houses, Brooke, Kayla, and Austin all came over. Austin looked like he was dressed up as some kind of jazz musician. Kayla, like a famous archer, and Brooke was dressed in a white dress, with two buttons on the side of her head. So, I see you dressed up as Princess Leia, Will said, then turned to Nico. She's a character from Star Wars. Brooke is my Star Wars buddy. Oh. Oh my god, you actually went through with it? Brooke squealed. What is she talking about, Solace? Will scratched his head. He was blushing. Well, I told Brooke we were doing a clothes swap for Halloween, and she didn't believe that you were going to go through with it. Okay. Nico suddenly felt the need to hide in a corner. He had felt that all night, but it was very prominent then. Anyways, I'll leave you two alone, Brooke said. All three of them yelled their goodbyes and walked off. What was that all about? Nico demanded. She was just excited that you agreed to it. The Apollo cabin and Slay were bait. Or taking bets. Nico felt himself blush. So should we go to your cabin now? Nico slightly grinned. Sure thing. As soon as they approached his cabin, one of the Aries kids stumbled away, shaking, eyes wide. Nico, what did you do? Will asked. You'll see. Nico and Will walked forward, and they walked into an entrance of a structure that was quickly put together. It was very wide and long. As soon as they walked inside, they were completely devoured by fog that Nico had made with a fog machine. So they walked forward. It was really hard to see, and there was a distant sound of wailing and crying. They were from the ghosts, Nico had commanded. Suddenly, one of them noticed. Suddenly, one side of them. Suddenly, on one side of them, they noticed a swing set with a little girl on it. She was singing "Ring Around the Rosie" creepily as she swung back and forth. She was wearing a typical white dress and had long, flowy, dark brown hair. As soon as she got to the "Ashes, ashes, we all fall," her voice changed into a scream. She disappeared. She was just another ghost doing what Nico commanded her to do. At the point where she screamed, Will jumped and latched his arm onto Nico's. Nico didn't stop him. They kept trudging forward, when all of a sudden something red dripped from the sky and landed on Will's face. It was fake blood, but Will freaked. He grabbed the side of Nico's leg to grab something from the medkit. He pulled out a pair of gloves and wiped the blood off his face. More and more kept falling, and Will started wiping it away more frantically. What if it's infected? What if it has HIV in it? What's HIV? We'll talk about it later. Well, it's fine. It's fake, okay? He relaxed a bit, but was still latched on Nico's arm. Once they moved forward, the fake blood stopped dripping, but there was something else waiting for them. Oh, sorry. It was a sound like two objects clanging together. What's that noise? Will asked, his voice shaking. Suddenly something tapped Will on the shoulder. He jumped, turning around, now face to face with a skeleton. As Will screamed, another figure approached them. It was a ghost, no face, carrying a bloody knife. Will started running, dragging Nico along. He was still screaming, and Nico was laughing. Next, they reached a graveyard. Will stopped to catch his breath. But seconds later, skeletons started coming up out of the ground and started chasing Will again. As Will ran, screaming, they came to the last stop. It seemed harmless. Nothing was around, but then Will jumped when he heard a deafening roar. The monster then growled at them. They couldn't see where it was, or what it was. But Nico knew. It was just Mrs. O'Leary. Will's face was pale and his eyes were wide. Nico felt him shaking. Come on, Will. It won't attack us. We're almost out and into the candy. He nodded slightly, and this time Nico was the one to pull him forward. They finally walked out of the building, and the fog cleared. In front of them was a bowl full of candy. They took a few pieces. Will was still holding Nico's arm. After they were long gone from the Hades cabin, Nico knew other people would be able to see them now, but Nico couldn't bring himself to pull away. Even though it was chilly, Will was warm, plus Will was terrified, so he needed someone. So, did you like it? Nico asked. God, Nico, it was the most terrifying haunted house I've been in. But, yeah, it was good. I never would have made it without you, though, Will said, looking into Nico's eyes. Nico looked back. His eyes were a pretty blue. They stared a little too long, and Nico looked away. Geez, I'm gonna go change and wash these clothes. There's fake blood all over. I probably should take a shower too. Oh, shit, sorry. Oh, I'm not allowed to cuss! Oh, I'm sorry. Um, sorry. I just realized that is Will's line and not Nico's. I apologize for redoing that with the country accent. Jeez, Nico, I'm just gonna go and change and wash these clothes. They're covered in all over in fake blood. I should probably take a shower too. Not only is there fake blood all over me, but I think I may have pissed myself. Nico laughed. You can go change out of your clothes. You can go change out of your clothes too. Meet back here in half an hour? Sure. 30 minutes later, they met back up in their normal clothes. Nico felt relieved to be back in his usual outfit. The trick-or-treating was ending, and everybody was heading to the campfire where treats, drinks were set up. Music was playing, people were eating and dancing and playing games. I take it you don't. I take it you won't be dancing, Will said. Nope, Nico replied as he shoved a piece of food into his mouth from the food table. Then you can watch me, he said as he started jamming out spooky, scary skeletons. He was really terrible. Looks like I need to give you some dancing lessons sometime, Solace. You can dance? Well, I was raised in Italy in the 30s. That's cool. Not really. As the night drew on, Will took a break from his awful dancing and stood next to Nico in the grass. Hey, I want to show you something, Will said. Nico raised an eyebrow. What is it? Something Brooke showed me last year on Halloween. Come on. Will held out a hand and Nico hesitated but took it. Will pulled him across the camp, back towards the cabins. They ran until they stopped at the Estia's cabin. Hearts in the middle of the 12 original cabins layout. Sorry. Look, no one ever seems to notice because they're so busy, but for a couple of hours on Halloween night, the flames turned green and black. Nico stared at the flames. Will was right. They were indeed black and green. Like someone took Greek fire and mixed it with fire that was dyed black. But it was beautiful. Nico turned to Will. This is so amazing. It is, isn't it? Then Will did something Nico never expected. Will bent down and kissed him. Nico was shocked, but his lips quickly softened against Will's. His lips were warm and soft, and Nico felt warm inside, even though the world around him was cold. Everything else disappeared around him, all a blur. The only thing that mattered was this. Will quickly pulled away. His face was bright red. I'm sorry. Nico cut him off by kissing him back. It was Will's turn to be shocked. I actually didn't think that would take as long as it did, and I'm really tired. So you're only getting one chapter, and you're gonna be happy with that. You hear? Sorry, I love you all. But you are only getting one chapter. I'm tired, and I'm not feeling well, and I need rest. And I think it's fitting I give you the Halloween chapter, since I was supposed to post on Halloween and ended up not doing so. But I hope you all enjoyed this lovely video I had planned out for you all. And I hope to see you again on the next part of Out of the Shadows, or my one-shot series, or any other series I do in the future. Remember, you are loved, and remember that even if you feel like the world is empty and sorrowful and that no one loves you and that you would be better off non-existing, just remember that I love you and that I would care and I would notice. I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, or whatever time it may be for you. Goodbye, my suns and stars.